This video is about how to adapt to change in a way where it makes it better for you overall. Okay, so we're in front of this nice background today. Usually I'm like going on a walk and talking, but I wanted to really talk about why change is good. A lot of the times people will fear change, and it's because they are not adaptable. So the whole thing is you want to lean into the change as much as possible. And the reason I'm bringing this topic up today is because the company I work at, they just announced a few things that are going to change. And while I can't delve deep into what those changes are, it's just like a lot of people are taking it in different ways, right? And it's all about your perspective. And somebody talked about, somebody posted the link to Who Moved My Cheese, bro. And Who Moved My Cheese is one of the greatest books on adapting to change ever. Very small summary of it. There's 4 mice, Hem and Haw, and Sniff and Scurry. So Hem and Haw and or like, whatever, they're like chill, they're kind of lazy, whatever. And then Sniff and Scurry, by their names, they're like, more like faster, I guess, and they're more like efficient, right? But every day, they are part of this like not experiment, but it's a fictional, non-fictional book, right? It's like a self-help development book. But anyways, they're part of this thing, and every day there's cheese at the same place at the same time every single day. So they, like Hem and Haw, know that there's going to be cheese there, so they like take their time to get there, while Sniff and Scurry, like, they get the cheese and they go about their day. Now one day the cheese has moved and the cheese is not there anymore. And so Hem and Haw go to the place and they're like, yo, where's our cheese? And then Sniff and Scurry get there and they're like, yo, our cheese isn't here anymore. Let's go find out where the cheese is. And so they like sniff and scurry and like go around the maze to look for the cheese. And Hem and Haw are over here still hemming and hawing. They're just like, yo, our cheese is gone. Yo, why isn't our cheese here? Our cheese used to be here. Like we're so familiar with the cheese being here for years and years and years. What happened to it? And it's a great analogy on life, like there's people who are going to hem and haw. They're going to be people who like complain and bitch and moan about like change and who moved their cheese, their metaphorical cheese. Cheese is a metaphor if you haven't figured that out by now. And then there's going to be people who sniff and scurry, and they will use their surroundings and what's around them, and they'll be like, okay, look, things have changed, let's make a plan of action and go tackle that change. So now you got to ask yourself, which one are you? Are you Sniff and Scurry, or are you going to be Hem and Haw? And it's okay if you're Hem and Haw, right? You just will not be able to achieve the same level of things that Sniff and Scurry will be able to achieve, because as soon as the change happens, they lean into it, right? I'll tell you a very quick story personally, right? Like, actually, I can tell you 2 stories, but I don't want this video to be too long. So recently, we our Boy Scout troop split, right? We had 2 troops. We had one big troop in one city, and it got really big, so they split it up in 2 different cities. So I'm now part of this new troop, and like we're kind of struggling to get stuff off the ground. It's a lot of admin work. It's a lot of work, and I could just bitch about how much, and I do bitch a little bit about how much work it is, but I still got to do it, I still got to do all the things. And then the other piece is right after my last job, like when I got laid off, it was like 9 a.m. they had the meeting, 9:15, like I was kicked out of my laptop. By 9:30, I'd opened up my personal laptop and was already sending DMs on LinkedIn and applying for jobs, because I knew that there's no sense in like hemming and hawing and trying to like complain about the situation. It will always be better for you to take action rather than to complain about the situation and change. If something happens and there's like massive change in your life, the best thing you can do is lean into that change as much as possible, because change is the only constant. So yeah, like I said, man, that's pretty much all I have for this one. And if you're dealing with something in your life that's a lot of change, I would definitely read that book, Who Moved My Cheese, and make sure you act like Sniff and Scurry instead of acting like Hem and Haw. All right, that's it for this one. Peace.